All right, so this Saturday night, you have Oleksandr Usyk versus Mairis Briedis, and it's all part of this cruiserweight tournament, which I find to be right now. I find to be the most interesting tournament, the most interesting division in boxing because of the way this whole thing was set up. If you think about the last four guys that are involved in this tournament, I'm not saying that it's the best system and you know they could have not done things better. I thought that there were certain names that, for whatever reason, weren't involved in this tournament that could have made it a little bit better. But it is what it is, and I'm happy with the guys that are left, right? Briedis versus Usyk. I think it just comes down to, going with Usyk, the overall boxing skills, the more superior fighter. That's the way I see it going in. There is some good things about Briedis. He has good boxing skills. He does have power in both hands. He can use both of them, set you up with great body shots, especially if you're a stationary target. Briedis is going to get the best of you if you're pretty much, right in front of him. The problem with his way of fighting against a guy like Usyk is that Usyk is not, this is a guy who uses a lot of angles, great footwork, right? It reminds me a lot of Lomachenko, a bigger version of Lomachenko. Not quite the same. I'm just saying the way they approach, their every fight. They attack you in angles. Usyk can fight off the back foot, but is also can be very aggressive. And his way of doing it is coming at you, not directly forward. It's coming at you in angles, and I see that working out for him against a guy like Briedis, who I suspect will give him a good scrap, especially early in the fight. That's where I think Briedis will have his best chances of winning this fight. I see it as the fight goes along, that favors Usyk. The fight takes place in Latvia, so, although I've said this before, there's this big misconception that, robberies usually take place overseas, especially in Eastern Europe. I really haven't seen any evidence to believe that statement, right? So I think it's some of the fairest, if not the fairest, when it comes to officiating and judging fights, right? But a fight that gets too close, you might go with the hometown. You might go with the hometown fighter. So yes, Usyk has to go in there and win convincingly. Convincingly that you don't want to leave any questions or any door open where you can see where they could have given the fight to him. So there is some slight pressure in performing in dominant fashion, something that I think that he enjoys. Usyk, I'm talking about putting on himself. So even though I'm favoring Usyk to win and beat Briedis, at the same time he's going up against an undefeated fighter, a guy who has had nothing but success. So it makes the fight intriguing in that sense. But I got to go with the overall better fighter, better experience, even as a pro. So, yeah, I like Usyk to win this fight. I'll go 12 rounds. I'll say they go 12. And he beats him pretty wide on the scorecards. He could stop him late. I could definitely see that happening. because Usyk does have power. He has good enough power to get guys out of there, especially when he's sitting on his punches. He's committing to more of his punches. I think he is where he gets his opponents hurt and he can get them up out of there. So I think it goes the distance. I say Usyk beats him pretty wide on the scorecards. Overall, a decent competitive fight, but dominant fashion win, or a convincing win on the scorecards for Usyk. Anyway, that is my video. Peace.